yeah, Ice.
Ice was slapping with that. He had the Echo Saber Ags with the magic immunity.
Yep.
I don't necessarily like it against heroes like Storm because the whole idea is that you get the spirit off and then it comes back to you and then you have the magic immunity. But Storm kind of prevents you from casting your spells in the first place whenever he jumps you. So I think it's probably just going to be a 5. That sets up for a strong laning carry like a Luna.
Okay. We'll see what that Arteezy hero's going to be, as well as what T1 have in mind for their carry pick.
Turn to ban.
Morphling game
Morphling would have been good too.
Morphling Medusa, maybe still indicating, EG can of course still pick that gyrocopter. I don't think
that is true.
Mentioned that Snapfire little shredder mechanic, but I don't think that means gyro is something unpickable. It's just a slight little nuisance come the laning stage.
Okay, so they banned so much setup. Look at all those.
Yeah.
They are
Fly
not
heroes.
That is a lot of. I think those are the 3 heaviest stunning supports in the entire game.
Yeah. At least from the 5 roll, maybe. Maybe there's like a Nyx or something in there as well.
10 seconds.
Yeah, that's something EG is at least lacking and going to need either from their other support or from perhaps Ice's hero.
Remaining.
Wouldn't be too surprised by like a Tide Hunter for T1. They have been picking. So far they've picked Cuckoo's hero last. They picked Night Stalker last in both of their games.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Night Stalker against IO. I feel like they need a hero that either pushes lanes and sets up the rotation that way, or actually stuns the IO. Which in this case they're going for the Puck. This is a matchup, the Storm Puck matchup specifically, has really gone back and forth. I feel like Puck was the breadwinner 2 or 3 patches ago, and now I think it's kind of flipped because Puck's been nerfed and Storm's been buffed. But it gives you an automatic, like, we're going to cast this spell on you and then follow it up with our volley. Because right now it's like ET Snap. You're not going to be able to land your spells on a Storm. But with the coil, they absolutely can.
Well, there's a Tide Hunter picked, and it's on the other side. It's going to be an Ice Tide, most likely. I think maybe Fly's played it once or twice at various points, but we'll see where that ends up. Gives them some more control, but it's that one big team fight control. It's not like a reliable, okay, we're going to go for a gank and have that stun to start things off. It's we're going to win those big fights.
It's a combo breaker, I think, because right now T1 has a combo. All of their heroes individually, like Puck's not going to dish out the damage, and ET and Snap are not going to be able to hit a target that's not locked down. So if Tide's going to be the guy in front, he's the dangler. I get to use that word right away. He's the sponge. More accurately, he's just a sponge. His whole idea is like, I dare you guys to go on me specifically.
Yep.
If you don't go on me, I'm going to push the Ravage button, and it's going to disjoint your combo. Oh, there's... Okay, so ultra combo breaker.
And really, yeah, I mean, T1, you mentioned their playstyle is kind of sit back, play for late game, but they also like having that big team fight typically, which is going to be, okay, let's get 4 protect 1. Those 4 are going to be the big kind of synergy, whereas the 1 is 23 Savages. This is the hero that takes us late game. And yeah, Silence is back in the meta. That's a hero that I feel like disappeared for a long, long time.
I think we might see like the first Slark. I don't think I've seen a Slark so far.
Ooh.
But right now I think Slark's looking really nice for T1. It's just the issue of damage in the mid game if they go for something like that. They might just have to pick a heavy hitter like the Luna. But then you're the problem is most carries don't like having Tide in their face, and they don't have a way to get him out of the carry's face right now.
Evil geniuses turn to bad.
Okay. I'm not a fan of this pick because it lanes very poorly against Tide.
Yeah, that was
Tide will absolutely free farm this lane, so it's really like they're doubling down on this combo, and the fact that Spectre eventually builds a Manta is really nice to deal with the Silencer breaking her portion of the combo. But like once Storm gets BKB, I feel like their combo is unreliable, and they're kind of all in on it, is what I'm concerned about.
You mentioned when it comes to the clash of playstyles, though, this is kind of what you're describing. This is T1's playstyle, though. Where they're looking for the late game. They say, we don't care about the lanes. EG's usually the opposite. They're the ones who love to have these strong starts, these strong lanes, and they're just going for that big late game power of the Spectre. Because, yeah, Spectre against these 2 supports, he just eats them up.
Evil geniuses turn to ban.
So...
EG lacking any way to kind of take objectives right now.
Yeah, I think both teams are playing purely for map control. There's virtually 0 tower damage amongst both teams so far. I like the Night Stalker ban because
10
first off,
seconds
Kugu, like we said, has
remaining.
picked it both times for himself, but also because
5
they
seconds
needed a way
remaining.
to ignore Tidehunter. And so Night Stalker's silence being undispellable because it's like an AoE aura. If there's some other Doom might be a decent option, but that might be like causing them even more stun issues on the side of T1. But I know SEA and China lean pretty heavily towards Doom more so than the other regions, but it hasn't been very popular.
Interesting. EG ban Razor. Does that indicate something they might be wanting to pick? You mentioned the Sven earlier, or
Could be Gyro.
10
Gyro,
seconds
yeah.
They
remaining.
picked it against Gyro. It is a very hard anti-carry. And
5
as of
seconds
now,
remaining.
they don't really have a hero to kill Razor, oddly enough. It would have laned really well against Tide or whatever they're probably going to pick carry. I think Sven stands out to me still. Silver Edge builder against the Spectre. That matchup used to be not so hot, but any hero that naturally builds Spirit or Silver Edge will do pretty well against Spectre.
Yeah, T1, as you mentioned, saving that last pick for the offlane. Maybe it's like an SEA thing because Fnatic themselves like to sometimes save Death's hero for very late in the draft, like set him up for success, having that good lane matchup. And we're gonna find out what Arteezy's hero is, and yeah, Cuckoo gets the kind of the counter pick, so to speak.
I'm curious now because the Luna Sven seemed like the
10
prime candidates for the
seconds
IO. Is Gyro like the hand-me-down here?
T1's turn to pick.
Oh,
It's Troll. Okay. It's almost like T1 wanted them to pick Gyro because they left that in the pool.
Yeah.
They have the IO. Everybody's thinking Gyro, at least on some level, and
The
EG
Razor
do
ban
not go
makes a
for
lot
it.
of sense now, because if they were considering Sven or Troll, both of those are very hard countered by,
Yeah.
by Razor.
10 seconds remaining.
And Troll, I imagine he's going to build a Silver Edge. It's worth considering. He also
5
gets bonus
seconds
armor from
remaining.
his first spell, which is important because most Agi carries are all base armor, which gets 100% removed by the ET. He's going to build BKB early. Because Tide lanes really well against Spectre, I think EG's always going to be a team to double down on the lanes. Like, if they know they're already at the advantage, they will lean towards more lane dominators. Troll's one of the best carry laners in the entire game. And now, my question is, what can you pick off lane that's going to get out of the laning phase? They go for the
You may
Doom.
now select your heroes.
So, this is... it's all going to be... T1 is going to cast their spells, right? It's going to be this 4 or 5 seconds, and is the Silencer Global or Tide Ravage going to disrupt this? If it does, I'm leaning heavily towards EG. If T1 manages to start each fight killing 1 or 2 heroes, I'm leaning towards them, because they've got so much, like, just burst the one guy or remove one guy from the fight in their kit.
And it feels like somehow if they get into that kind of mid-game where, they've got this Doom offlane feels kind of greedy, but if Spectre doesn't get crushed in lane, if Doom manages to get some good farm, yeah, if he just starts a fight with a, BKB Doom on a Tide, suddenly that's EG's team fight kind of disappearing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think his target will always be the Tide, because if he dooms anyone else, the Tide's going to counter-initiate with the Ravage. Even if he has BKB, the Doom alone's not going to be enough to finish off whoever he's getting. And... there might just be too many targets for T1, because like Tide's combo breaking, Silencer's combo breaking, IO could potentially relocate the Doom target. So, T1 has one of the best late game execution of team fights that I've seen. Coming into TI, when I watch them win their games, I'm just like, wow, these are team fights I feel like they have no business winning, given the fact that they are usually down with their late game lineups.
Yep.
But so I think if there's a team that could piece it together, it's certainly them. But it's a tough one.
Yeah. And Storm always feels like one of those heroes that you want to execute this perfect team fight, he's going to be zipping in, zipping out, getting the back lines, kind of wreaking havoc. You mentioned, the IO saves crit. When he played on his former team, OG, he was a huge IO player, made those kind of plays all the time. So we're going to see how things unravel here. It's a big series, EG 2-0, one of the favorites here. A lot of people have them in the top 2, top 3. A lot of people even predicting, hoping this might be the year that Arteezy can win TI. And as for T1, one of the big hopes of the Southeast Asian region, only one of 2 teams here representing SEA, although you have got SEA representation on numerous other teams. They're 0-2, so this is, it's time to turn things around, even though you do play a lot of series.
I haven't seen my voice line a single time, and I guess
both teams.
Both teams now.
There we go.
There you go. I think they know I'm casting this game. I appreciate it, guys. Your PayPal will be submitted later. So let's see. It seems like the offlane builds nowadays are all about sustain, and you see Ice Ice Ice. He originally had the Ring of Health queued up after starting items, but he's actually going the Orb of Venom. So he's thinking they're going to be really
30
aggressive down
seconds
here.
to battle.
Maybe since he has the IO, he's thinking that his itemization can be less geared towards sustaining himself and more so ruining the Spectre's game. And I think if he's disruptive Ice Ice Ice, which I can't think of a better player to fit that role in a game, I think then Arteezy will eventually just take over the net worth charts.
Yeah. It's been interesting to see him play on EG, because I feel like, EG, the story has just been this cycle of offlane players, and it feels like usually the offlaner comes in and has to adjust to EG. Ice Ice Ice, I feel like it's the first offlane to come in, and the team adjusted to him. He didn't change his playstyle.
Yeah, we were talking about the way Arteezy used to play as a carry, and it feels like he's much more involved with the team early on. And with T1, I feel like they're the old EG. The way they play. We can expect 23 Savage to be the guy that's given all the space on the map.
Well, very excited to see this mid matchup. Carl versus Abed. Two very high MMR mechanically skilled players. Abed, the player who left the region to join EG, and we're going to see how he can fare against the Carl Puck. And it is kind of that iconic mid matchup, which you kind of suggest maybe goes a bit more the way of the Storm these days.
Yeah, it's just because mid lanes become more and more farm heavy with the small camp, and how teams are, or how mid laners are saying, like, it's not even worth trying to deny under your tower. I'd rather just stag the small camp and farm it. And Storm fits that narrative a lot better. And also, Puck's just been nerfed a bunch of times.
Well, an early first blood, the Gush, a level 1 kill from a Tide IO. That is a good way to get things kicked off here, and this is the lane that you were worried about as far as how the Spectre does against Tide. It's also the support ET off to a rough start.
Tide's, he's just one of those offlaners who's only weak in lane if the carry scares him. And so heroes like Spectre and PA, who are pretty low damage early on, usually Tide is allowed to kind of just do whatever he wants in lane. And Whitebond's got a lot of space he's got to make in the lane individually. We were talking about, like, as the map begins to get farmed later on, but the Spectre does so little to Tide in lane that he has to carry the weight of basically two heroes, while Savage is going to be farmed.
And it doesn't feel good when you're playing against the IO. Like, you harass him down to half health, and he's just tethering with this headdress, like, they're going to naturally heal back up constantly. So sometimes it feels a bit futile to be just constantly harassing in that lane.
The thing is, if T1 is, like, in a playable game at 15-20 minutes, I think their ability on the map are just terrifying.
Carl, nice fill of phase shift. He's still in a bit of trouble here. 1 or 2 more right clicks, forces a fairy fight. Can he get it with the disjoint? Carl gets away narrowly just as his bottle arrived. Abed very close to getting the kill. Could imagine Carl maybe knew his limits there, but I imagine he was sweating a little bit.
That was very close.
Yeah. Having to do just that tiny little orb jaunt away to dodge the auto attack.
Zephyr actually forced a TP away. That's that never feels good as support, right? Especially if you have to go back to base because you run out of regen. Now you just have no TP. And TP's now 100 gold. You'd only get one of them. Yeah. They're expensive early game. And he also knows they don't have one anymore, which means the double slow lane from Fly and Arteezy is much scarier for him.
Yep. Well, so far Doom not able to really do a whole lot. Arteezy just free farming away. You can see the CS count there, 18-3. Storm having a field day in the mid lane. So this is the EG laning stage that we've constantly seen. They're just a team that loves to bully their opponents when it comes to the laning stage.
It's a matter of how greedy is EG going to go once they get the expected lead. Because they have so much, pick off every time they just cast their ultimates. I think what's going to be important is that T1's going to have to get their own farm, but then just use their cooldowns to kill somebody who's in your face so that you can farm more. Use the Doom just to make a little bit of space. Use the Spectre Haunt. Use the Coil. Use the Snapfire ulti.
I mean, as a carry player yourself, you see this Spectre obviously playing against this IO Tide. Is there a point where you just have to leave this lane, or can he kind of stick it out and get a bit more here?
He just has to build to sustain. Look at his items, right? He's not even going boots yet. He's just going stat items with a wand. And the idea is the lane's often going to get pushed into your tower. ET is going to make sure he prevents the big camp pull. And as we see, the lack of TP costing Zephyr there.
Just like you say, the double slows, and they just right-click him down. That was a pretty straightforward, easy one, and they're even getting some additional harass onto Cuckoo.
He feels pretty good, though, because he's out-leveling the troll, and the lane's now underneath his tower,
Okay.
so it's not like the support death is actually costing the core anything. That's when it's, like, disastrous.
Yeah.
But I think 23 Savage should be fine to just kind of chill underneath his tower. Yeah, Ice 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 will control the lane, but you're seeing it now. He's actually pretty even with him, 17-5 to the 16-4. So he's chilling. It's just a matter of, like, how are they eventually going to kill the Tide? Even if they doom him, will they be able to bring him down with the IO behind?
Yeah, like you can look at the scoreboard, see a 2-0 EG lead, and you can see, you know, a bit of a CS advantage in a couple of these lanes. A third kill now, but the goal difference is still under 1k for now. That could change as Arteezy can get a second kill up here. Zephyr gets chased down. Fly with the double kill. Not giving anything to his carry there.
I wonder how he got caught on Kuku. I wasn't expecting them to make the aggressive move there. This is it's just such a game of survival for T1. I think if they overextend a few more times, they could be in some serious trouble because a lot of EG's damage is just very, what I would call convenient. You know, these heroes don't do anything special. You just win trades with Anchor Smash. You win trades with the Whirling Axe Mischance from Troll Warlord. They're not going to like have any heavy investment. It's pretty much like consistent trading in favor of EG, while individual ability usage in favor of T1.
Constant battle mid as Abed's keeping Carl very, very low, but there's some backup. Zephyr comes in for a little salve
That
here.
salve is clutch because both heroes
Yeah.
have kill threat on each other.
And it's right before this 6-minute rune. I imagine T1's like, we want to get this puck a 6-minute rune so we can make something happen on the map. ET camping the bottom one as...
I like these moves by the supports on T1.
Yeah, they really want to make sure they get this rune. It's going to spawn top of double damage, but Fly is there ready to take it. Wanted to leave for the storm, but didn't get a chance to do so as Carl decides not to go for any kind of aggressive Dream Core play. Probably doesn't want to commit that just on a silencer kill.
Dire structures
Savage is chilling underneath his tower alone, so meanwhile, as long as nothing in the side lanes negative is happening, they don't mind committing this many supports to the mid lane.
It's Tide, though. This is nothing you get with Tide and IO. There's Sustain, Ring of Health, Soul Ring, plus the IO Tether. Has that Headress going, so it just doesn't feel like they've got the damage to push this Tide out unless they get some kind of big TP from Puck or Doom.
And we are seeing the carry meta though. Wand and Falcon Blade.
Yep.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Mana regen, stats, and some damage. And the whole idea is to just stand your ground and hit some creeps.
I don't know. I don't know if Spectre was the same, but I saw Arteezy on the troll. He just got it before his boots, so.
Yeah, no, Spectre got it before boots. She doesn't
Okay.
have boots yet.
Oh, there we go.
Spectre specifically has such serious damage issues in the lane that it makes so much sense on her. Even though she's like a movement speed based hero, if she's catching up to you and hits for like a wet noodle, it doesn't matter.
You can see there, top 2 net worths are on that T1 side. Doom, of course, with that gold boost always coming in from the Devour, but yeah, Puck is out farming the Storm fairly significantly
I
with
think
that
the
small
support
camp.
rotation is huge, right? I think the
Yeah.
fact that it looked like Abed, you saw the way he was playing, right? He was committing so much to bullying Carl out of lane, and then they just come back with a salve, make sure Abed doesn't get the rune, and now I think it's hard to see because we weren't watching it the whole time, but I imagine he committed a lot of resources to make that situation happen, and this is
Okay.
completely negated by that rotation. So that's really good awareness by T1 to kind of just slam that door.
Definitely.
Oh, Arcane Rune.
It's been a very passive game from T1, but you look at the numbers and where things stand right now, the fact they're down 4-0 and they're even on gold, and you got to feel at least pretty okay with this. We talked about how if they can get into the mid game with, you know, just farm their items, hit their timings, like this is fine for them. So we're not seeing that kind of EG just overrunning them right now.
I want to see Carl and Kuku connect. They've got the coil with the
Okay.
Arcane Rune, and they've got the Doom available. Whoever gets caught by that will die.
Do you think there's like, do they want to connect around the mid lane, top lane, or is it a certain hero they want to be ganking?
I think Doom is an offlaner that doesn't like to move unless his lane sucks, and he's free farming. So I'd like to see them connecting to him, but he's actually going bot.
Yeah. No points in the Ravage. He's still level 5. Ice, Ice, Ice. Gets the tether from Crit and will actually get away okay. Well, it's not the connection you were hoping for.
Yeah, the problem is that their damage is lacking. The supports are level starved, like they're level hungry, I'll say. Both supports need a lot of levels to do the damage that they need to do, and we see Zephyr, like, he's making use of this rotation by getting levels mid, But as of right now, Spectre's a hero that would rather you fight away from her so she can join you if she wants with the Haunt. And Doom is like the scary hero where nobody's laning against him. Maybe their idea is that Ice 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 is the pressure creator, so let's shut him down.
Yeah.
They just had no damage.
And now, one of the things that you mentioned, lacking damage and support levels, both teams giving the supports to mid lane. So Abed seeing the puck come bottom is like, okay, I'm going to come too. Global Silence comes out, but Carl gets the silence off before.
He was phase shifted during the silence. That's clutch. I have to imagine he thought of that, because Storm didn't do anything to threaten him yet. So that's really good awareness.
Right now, T1 kind of keeping the status quo, continuing to farm. An Abed rotation bottom doesn't lead to a whole lot. Well, Puck, similar story, did actually, he went to the jungle, farmed a double camp, so he's back farming lanes as well as neutral camps, hoping for a 10-minute rune to spawn top. No such luck. It goes the way of Abed. Just an illusion rune, though.
Good against the silence, but other than that, doesn't really do much. Ooh, massive stack.
Juicy.
That's going to be his Midas.
Yeah. Always nice to clear up a stack around, ideally earlier, but getting all those neutral items all at once, so nice little boost as well. Ravage coming out bottom. They want to get this 23-7 Spectrum with the Abed zip in. They will do so. White Men in some trouble as well as Abed dodges the stomp with the ball lightning. Zephyr's showing up. Can he kill anyone with the kisses here? He's looking for Crit here, but Crit dodging it so nicely. Gets clipped by one at the end. He doesn't manage to get away. Very close, but a nice TP in from the Snapfire to turn this around, get 2 kills on the EG supports. As we're going to see a bit of a force from Cuckoo. Still has the Doom here. He's holding on to it for now. Didn't find an opportunity to go in. He was a bit too low there. Probably didn't want to commit. And Carl going to back off, continue farming himself.
Yeah, the only issue with that for T1 is that was a 4v5, where they had 5 and EG only had 4. RT's has been hitting creeps this entire time, and it's crazy to me. I don't feel like Carl has been farming all that much based on like what he's been doing in the game. Like he's been active, and yet he's still the #1 net worth in the game. So this is just crazy efficiency. I'd almost have to watch this back to see how he has such high net worth. But EG putting a lot of pressure on this bottom tower, and they're just not afraid. You see it in the way they're playing. They're not necessarily like Ice 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 not playing exactly a kill hero, but he's diving behind the T1 with half health.
Yep.
Against T1. I feel like I did that unintentionally.
All right, T1 saying wait. Wasn't looking for mercy for the Snapfire. The T1 tower will go down, and this is, 11.5 minutes in. Pretty late for the first T1 tower to go down, but it just wasn't the game plan for either of these teams, really.
Yeah, this is definitely the least tower damage I've seen if you add all 10 heroes together in a while. Troll eventually does tower damage, but with the way they reworked TPs a couple patches ago where you can TP much further from the tower, it's difficult for any hero that has to be melee range to ever siege towers in the early game.
No. Right, TZ continuing to farm towards that Maelstrom now as the treads to go with it. It is EG themselves kind of matching T1, playing a bit of 4 Protect 1 themselves, having Arteezy just continue to free farm away on his side of the map in the jungle.
Yeah, the way these 4 Protected ones operate, though, is very different. Trolls, like, get 1 or 2 items, time to go, while Spectre's like, how long can we make this game last?
Yeah.
He is queuing up the Ags. I would be curious if he eventually goes for, like, a Radiance or a Scotty, where his purpose is to remove the IO sustain from the picture. But as of now, looks like he's queuing up the standard items.
Yeah.
He's got the Ags into Manta.
I mean, you mentioned the importance playing against like the silence and stuff for the Manta, so.
Yeah, Ags nowadays on Spectre, the game's just too fast. You can't really wait around for Haunt to be available, and that's why pretty much all the Spectres have elected to go for Ags. Also, the dagger talents make her feel a lot better. The 5 seconds at level 10 combined with the 100 damage at level 15. Yeah. You farm pretty decent because you're one-shotting range creeps now. It just feels a lot better. I've only played it a few times myself, but I can see why these players... It just feels good. As a player, you just know it feels good.
And with the way Dispersion works, just an item that tanks you up is always going to feel nice.
Yeah, just raw stats. Any illusion hero, too, benefits from stats pretty heavily. And EG... I think both teams are okay with that. As a carry Spectre, you're fine to like come in real quick and get a kill with your Haunt. And then on EG side, you're fine if they use Haunt to kill a 5.
Are you feeling the state of this game favors either team right now?
T1 is in a much better spot coming out of the laning stage than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
It's a matter of who makes the next move And if EG gets like tier 1 mid in the next like 3 minutes, I think the map's going to shut down for them very quickly. But if they can manage to kind of just hold the door and keep their area of farm available to them, I really like what the state of the game for them. I think the status quo favors them right now. EG smoked up. They seem to agree.
Dire's top
What can
tower
make happen
is
with this
under
one? They
attack.
want to strike before some of these perhaps BKB timings. Kuku with the Midas, you know, typical Doom build, but isn't quite online just yet. 14-minute rune going to come out. Arteezy even looking to join the fight for this one. They go on the puck. Can they hit him with the global silence as it comes out? He gets caught by the last word. The Doom is there on Arteezy.
He's ranged
Cookie isn't going to catch anybody there as Kuku is charging in. The Ravage going to zone them away, and Doom in the front lines does not have that BKB. Arteezy getting incredibly low here. Is he going to die? He gets helped out by the tether. That's going
And
to keep
the
him alive.
regen. Oh,
But
no.
instead it's the Storm. Storm goes down as the TP out from Doom keeps him alive. And Arteezy, the kisses! Oh no! Can he get him one more time? It's close! He manages to barely... Oh! Death from above. Zephyr snipes Arteezy. And T1 win a huge fight.
Arteezy was probably walking away there thinking, you can kiss my ass. And then he literally did kiss his ass, and he's dead now. That looked painful. That
It
was,
looked beautiful for like the first 4 that he dodged, and then the final.
really well played by T1. This is exactly what they had to do. I was just like, just hold your ground, guys. They committed everything. Even without the haunt, they were confident to take that engagement. They got the spells off on the crucial targets. The fact that he got doomed in ranged form on RT, it just feels so bad. So really good awareness that I think he probably just swapped in order to cast ranged whirling axes. The coil got off as well. Usually the problem with Doom is that they walk away. Crit had also tethered another ally, so it was on cooldown for the majority of the Doom. He wasn't able to sustain him through it. And that just feels really bad if you're Troll Warlord against Spectre and now you're suddenly like about neck and neck, while your other 2 cores on the Spectre side are also doing very well.
Yeah. I imagine Arteezy, when he's kind of seeing in the front lines there, is expecting a bit more in the way of backup. And he's probably also, I mean, we talk about Doom targets, you normally think Tide, Storm. Troll, you wouldn't think of, like, top priority necessarily.
I think at this stage in the game, he's really their only damage, like their sustained damage. It's like you're going to use Ravage on Tide, and Storm's got a limited amount of mana, but if they're locked down, the Troll's going to be the one dishing it out.
Dire's bottom tower
Okay, I
is
see.
under
I like it.
attack.
And EG have to now consider that. You can't use the Troll as the dangler. I believe that's the word in the biz.
That is the vocab, yes.
Yes. Gotta
Vernacular.
put the Tide out there.
Yeah, the thing is I think they can afford for Arteezy to get doomed or coiled, but I don't think they can let both happen prior to him disengaging, and the fact that Carl was also able to get the coil off right as the Ravage came out, I think was the difference maker there. He does almost have the Orchid on Abed. The thing is that Carl rushed a Yule Scepter, and he's already got the Witchblade on top of it, so I was concerned about the Yules because Puck's early to mid-game damage is lacking, especially with all the nerfs, but now that he's also got the Witchblade, the Yules, the downside of it, which is that you lack damage, is completely negated.
Dire's top tower
So far, this is feeling like a bit of a statement game from Carl. Like,
It is. Yes.
to every team out there who's going to watch this replay or see, you know, regardless of the outcome, they're going to see this and be like, wow, Carl's puck. Yeah, we might have to, you know, put some second phase respect bands onto that one.
The crazy thing is, I think if he had died at level 3, where he
Dire's
had that
top
slight
tower is
maneuver to
under
live,
Yeah.
this game could look completely upside down to what it is now. Which is just crazy how little things in Dota just add up.
I'm sure as a mid player, he's played that matchup almost 100 times too, and knew that he was not going to die there. Nice. Jump onto the ET. That's going to finish him off.
I guess you can like
middle tower has fallen.
fade away as you attack through your ball lightning. I didn't know that's how that worked. They do get the mid tower, but it was not cheap. They lost a lot of heroes, and it took them committing a second time grouped up where they're not farming EG's style, where they like to turn that laning stage advantage into farm. But usually you have to get the towers
Dire
first.
are scanning.
And that delayed process has allowed Kuku to get his BKB.
Here come T1 smoked up, but Arteezy, I feel like he's got some of the best map sense of...
There's nobody showing.
Yeah.
Radiant are scanning.
He's not getting caught down there. They
Big
do get him with
intercept.
the scan, but doesn't look like T1 want to be making the move into that enemy triangle right now. They decide against it. They've got the BKB on the Doom, which is perhaps why they considered that aggressive move, but they're respecting what EG can do, and Perhaps also realizing what happened last time may not come so easily. If if you throw everything on that one here, if they do get tether saved, relocated out, that can be a problem.
This is a huge item from Zephyr. Support Snapfire rushing a Lotus Orb against the Orchid as well as the Global Silence. That's massive, honestly. On anybody who they commit onto, you just put the Lotus Orb on, you cancel the Storm Pull. Yeah, it doesn't like stop the Ravage or the Troll, but overall, I think it just makes it way easier for every hero on T1 to play the game.
Yeah, only 200 gold away from it, assuming he's disassembling his Arcane Boots. So
yeah,
very early timing for him.
You know you're like in control of the game when your support is allowed to just farm the dangerous area of the map by themselves to complete a crucial item. Usually you're like, okay, let's wait for our support as we give them the hard camp, you know? But instead, this time, now they're probably going to look to connect here. They have all their ultimates available. This Lotus Orb timing's pretty huge.
And hasn't come at the cost of, like, really any of the other cores getting their farm too much. Like, yeah, Spectre's number 6, but that's just the pace at which Spectre sometimes farms.
I'm kind of down for Spectre to be in this spot when you have a hero like Doom. Spectre plays more like a ganker with the build. He actually went Manta first, by the way, over the Ags, which I don't mind because of how many silences there are.
Yep.
But also Doom, he is like a carry-esque offlaner. He's going to play very greedily on the map.
EG going to charge forward with Fly on the Silencer. He's baiting a little bit here. They get the silence out, but defense maneuvers there. The global silence now from Fly as the BKB Doom on the front lines doesn't have a chance of dealing with him. Gets the Doom out, takes out the Tide with the Silencer. No Ravage in play, and EG have to just walk away with their tail tucked between their legs.
I think EG have underestimated how expertly T1 goes about playing the map defensively.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to adjust going into Game 2. I'm not even trying to say, like, Game 1's already over, but I think EG thought they were going to be able to play their normal style of win the lanes, invade, and the win lane part happened, and then the invade part kind of flopped. And now we're seeing T1 just, like, kind of do whatever they want with their ultimates. Yep. And I think this Force of the Roche, it seems nice, but because you have like the Manta from Spectre, pretty high damage with the Desolate, but they have all of their abilities on EG except for Global, while T1 has nothing.
Yeah. And with the Manta, the Yules, and the Lotus, it doesn't feel like the Global's the big spell necessarily. But looking for the backlines here, they throw out the Ravage to secure the Aegis. Arteezy gonna guarantee they pick it up, and 23 Savage could be in some trouble here. Gets back to the high ground, gets pulled back. Abed, can they finish off this kill? And you betcha. Spectre goes down. He made a ballsy play going for the Aegis snipe, and it did not pay off. Great Ravage to secure the Aegis. And EG's not done. They're chasing. They're looking for more. Puck on the backlines takes out the Silencer, but will he pay for this with his life? But doesn't really have the damage or the mana for this one.
He might be going
and
down.
yeah, he doesn't have the Aegis. Luckily, a tether comes in from the Io. Crit gonna look to bail him out. Carl's still fighting, and now with Cuckoo showing up, he gets the stomp. He's doing some big damage here. Abed healed up just enough to stay alive.
Who's killing who?
The Orchid onto the Puck. He's going to use in a couple of seconds. Is he going to be okay? It's going to be close. Gets the phase shift. Doesn't have a blink, though. Needs to Orb. Waning Rift's out of there.
Holy
Orb
crap.
to the lockout. And he's out.
This guy's good.
Oh, you love to see it. Carl showing off some of that SEA Dota mechanics there.
I feel like if we wanted to show like the recap of like deciding plays of this game, it's the level 3 play by Carl and that play right there. Like, if he dies either of these times, like if he dies the first time, he's definitely dying that time. And if he dies there, this game could be unrecognizable as well, because you're at a stage where you have the momentum on T1, but both teams have ridiculous like map play. You know, we have Io on one side, and then you have Spectre, Doom, Puck on the other. You know, just whoever shows by themselves is gonna die. So whatever team controls the map is naturally gonna have way more control, because the supports can afford to show by themselves because they don't really care about dying to like a massive combo of abilities.
And you see it there. It's like Zephyr's just like, I'll just farm the lane in plain sight while my my core Doom is just chilling.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of off-map play from the cores in this game.
EG themselves, when they smoked to the high ground, it was Fly running in first, willing to just throw away his life. Probably had buyback for a buyback global play, but supports are the ones that need to use their body for vision. If you don't have wards, you just have to sometimes sacrifice yourself.
And they've got the Centaur Stomp on Doom. They're probably just going to find the Silencer.
Oh, I bet, yeah, he just pulls out of there. Throws out an Orchid, and I believe he realizes Fly's fate. They still got an Aegis, EG. This Troll, maybe not the Aegis carrier they intended. They just probably wanted to make sure they picked it up. Not a bad one by any means.
Yeah,
but
you'd 10 times rather have Storm have it.
Yeah.
They definitely, it was a pretty panicky situation. Scramble for the Aegis. And T1 still looks like they want to go.
Yeah. Nice, good reactions. Gets out of there.
Did he see them, or was that just game sense?
I think the smoke popped before he blinked in.
Yeah, it's one of those situations he's probably like kind of ready for it, and then he sees you, so he reacts.
Yeah.
Oh, but Arteezy on the other hand.
Whoa.
I don't know if Aegis means
Got an
anything.
Aegis, but the okay. Oh no! He tried to relocate him out, but he died.
Wait,
Where
what?
he died?
What?
Where did he die? He lost the Aegis. He died in the fountain. I guess the
the
infernal blade damage or something. Some damage killed him, and he just died in the fountain and lost the Aegis.
That might be a matter of like server ticks.
Yeah.
Like how close that was. I think
Could-
I feel like he died outside of base.
Okay.
But it registered when he's in base because we've seen that before, where you TP home.
I think we can take another look as what.
Yeah,
We'll-
that's worth looking at. For
We'll
sure.
get the mechanics nerds on this one.
Okay, so
See exactly what happened. It kind of happened a little too fast there, but
okay, so they Oh, the coil snap was what
oh,
killed
okay,
him.
got it.
That
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
a lot of sense. Okay, okay,
That's a
understood
good chunk
now.
of damage. Yep. Okay.
Understood now. But it still shows it outside of base, which is interesting because I guess that's where the damage instance
Yeah.
occurred.
It's not until he's moved that he dies.
Huh.
Yeah, if he died there, that would have been very bad for EG. I mean, the game set is, either way, however you look at it, not particularly good for EG there. Anytime it feels like T1's getting that execution off with this, just any Doom on any target, like, yeah, Tide is great, but it feels like Storm, Troll, there's a lot of targets, but as long as you get one, the fight can go well for them.
Now, whenever all the spells are available in the game, it totally favors T1.
Oh, Carl, as he pushed things a bit too far here, uses off the Orchid. The Global Silence is there to follow it up. And that penetrates through the Yule Scepter.
I'm learning some interesting mechanics that I wasn't confident on before this, that you cannot global silence a puck who's phase shifted, but you can global silence somebody who's Yules, so that's interesting.
Yep.
He has to be careful with popping that Yules too early then. Maybe he gets a secondary way to remove silences even, worth considering, because of how many there are.
Radiant's bottom
That, like,
is under
BKB even, who knows? But for now, once the Acceptor, which is, of course, fantastic playing against Troll, Storm, who are going to have these BKBs. And EG taking over this bottom side of the map.
And Troll will punish you if you ever lose a core like this. Lose an entire tier 2. That was a full HP tower. This is necessary for EG, though, to even be in the game. I feel like T1 still drastically in control of this game.
the greatest strategy.
Yeah, and it doesn't really... oh, it's I love how Crit does it and Zephyr's like, well, I've got that one too. That's
I appreciate it, guys.
yeah. Abed paying homage to his SEA brethren, the other SEA teams with the Vietnamese lines. And yeah, I mean, for T1, they feel very relaxed with how they're playing. Like, there's no pressure on them to make moves. They're making good moves, but they're happy to just play this slow and keep farming as well.
Definitely seems like it's been cat and mouse where T1 is the cat somehow, even though they're like a satiated cat.
Honk gives him some vision. Cuckoo follows it up. Arteezy's already got the BKB off. Earthsplay to follow up is not going to do anything, and Arteezy, through his ultimate, is going to find the puck here, but Carl gets out of there for a little bit. Crit trying to save Arteezy.
Oh!
Nice relocate out.
That's clutch.
Very clutch, right?
Dyer's
After the
top
Trolls
tower
ulti had worn off, he was doomed. He was
they
in
gonna fight?
all
I think
sorts of
so.
trouble.
I think he's bringing Arteezy
And
back.
I think, yeah, T1 deciding SSI checks things out and realizes, okay, they've left.
That, honestly, I wish he had just blindly ravaged there, because that would have just been one of the funniest looking things I've seen in a while. But
That's something SSI would do.
it really is. Arteezy didn't get a single bash on Cuckoo there. It was really unfortunate for him. Because I think he would have managed to bring him down, because he had all the fervor stacks on the Doom, and then he first hit bashed the puck right after.
We mentioned cat and mouse, and I got to say, the roles have definitely reversed when 5 T1 ultimates are on cooldown. EG are hunting.
I feel like net worth doesn't mean all that much this game, as long as the game's close. It's so much about cooldowns.
Yeah.
Because when all the abilities are available, T1's in control. When nobody has abilities, I'd much rather be EG. And in this case, they still have the Ravage and the Global Silence.
Fly
happening here?
almost went down to
the Yag's Spectre.
yeah, the mini horn.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Almost a solo kill there with the Manta Illusions, it looks like.
Yeah, you have to be really careful. I learned this. So when you use the Ag Scepter and you kill the person, you can't. The illusion that you took the place of, leave. It disappears.
So you're
So
stuck
you're
there.
yeah, you're
commi-
stuck
yeah.
there. So you actually have to leave ahead of time.
Oh, this
Like
time around.
This is what exactly just happened.
Oh no.
Is he out?
He's got TV.
Okay, that
So
was
you-
exactly what just happened.
So it's like you want to go back to where you came from and leave your illusions to finish off the kill.
Yes, and if you,
ideally.
the problem is with support sometimes you actually kill them so fast that you don't even realize. I think that's what just happened there.
Yeah.
So fortunately, there was nobody else around that time around.
I feel like Spectre this tournament is going to be like the hero these support players have nightmares about.
It always is. There's no positioning when the hero can just push a button.
Yeah.
It's very expensive, or it's very costly to find out that the opponent has a ward when you're against Ag Spectre. You usually find out by dying.
We'll see where Carl looks to go. Has the X queued up, but holding on to the money for now. And we're certainly thinking about Roshan buybacks. It's kind of that crucial stage of the game where T1 have their ultimates back now. And you mentioned this is where they're in control. This is when they want to make the move. And they're going to smoke up with 4. Spectre able to farm and push out lanes. Can always haunt on in.
Tide's got a refresh.
EG themselves going to meet this, with the refresher Tide.
Who's
Can
jumping?
they
who
blow
here?
up someone like the Puck? That would be huge for them. Ice. Smoke gonna pop. He doesn't want to commit anything when he sees the Doom, perhaps knowing that he can BKB quickly. You definitely can't rely on a Blink Ravage on a BKB target. They get the Doom out on Arteezy. He needs help. He needs that IO save. The mech is there. Crit healing him up a little bit. There's going to be the first Ravage. It catches at the Doom. That manages to pick him off now. The Global Silence keeping things down for now as EG throw him up in the air with a Ravage, and Ice has perhaps won this fight as EG Arteezy. He gets off the ultimate. Healing himself back up a little bit. The chase is on T1. Haven't got the outcome they were hoping for. Not ready for the refresher Tide, and they're going to lose 3.
I don't know exactly what happened there with the coil, but when you have the Spectre Haunt, that has to be used to scout out crit. Because if they manage to pick off crit there, Arteezy's 100% going to go down. And the coil was used on, I believe, Abed, rather than crit. And although it's like a core storm, I think crit's actually more important in this case than anyone else on all of EG, to make sure that relocate does not go off, or at least even just the sustain. Because he's got Holy Locket mech. That's like 1,000 HP.
He's playing around with an Ag Shard as well.
Oh, that could be really frustrating for Spectre or Puck, or even Doom, who tries to blink in and get the stun off. It makes the tether stun. The old tether, the classic like 5 years ago tether. It's a 1.75 second stun against a hero like Troll. You could just die full of 0 if you get stunned by that.
Relocate down bottom just for some farming.
It's really important. This is really nice. That means you can kind of just play top with the entirety of EG and never have to worry about coming bottom again. And Titan Sliver as well.
Against the Doom, we saw last fight, just biding your time for that Doom to wear off is just such a crucial part of this Troll's game.
Yeah, magic resistance is also amazing against ET, who removes all of your base magic resistance.
Do you think the Doom priority needs to change now that Tide has this refresher? Because we've seen Doom almost exclusively on Arteezy this game.
Yes, I do believe that early on in the game, it was more important, but now, unless you plan to catch the IO, you either have to get Troll and IO. As we see, Carl attempted to coil Abed, actually, but he missed. That's the one thing that scares me about T1's lineup. I don't think you can afford to miss any of their combo. Because they just have so much combo break on EG that 2 out of 3 portions of the puzzle are not going to be good enough. As you see there, Arteezy narrowly surviving.
Ice. Timing that first Ravage perfectly to clip the Doom. Not sure if he meant to blink and catch more, but it worked out fine because EG caught T1 completely by surprise with the second Ravage. But more than anything, it was just keeping that Troll alive.
I think it's not... You're not even like expecting to catch anymore. You're just like, if you guys are sticking around to try to finish off the Troll, I will get you with this Ravage. So it's covering all their bases, like kind of just guaranteeing safety for his carry.
Yep. Yeah, Spectre jumping in or something could have maybe been the killing blow. Looks like EG are going to be ready, but T1 just making sure everything's working on their voice comms.
He's sticking with the Paladin Sword, Arteezy, as opposed to the Titan Sliver for now. He might be swapping that out since they recently found it.
I mean, you're playing with Io, obviously amplified healing, always great, but...
What is this? A game of some sort?
I'm skeptical. of it being better than Titan Sliver.
Yeah.
But he does not have a source of lifesteal, and Troll does generally love having lifesteal. I mean, I like his build. I like Arteezy's
Casual
build here.
Sanj.
The casual Sanj, yeah. Into Satanic. Your job is to stand your ground because there's no running from Puck Doom. And you've got the IO to help you do that. And even if... Oh, he's got the... Oh, never mind. He's got the whole Sanj and Yasha. I thought it might have been just a casual Sanj.
Oh, that's... I get. Yeah, that's probably where he doesn't want the Titan Slivers, or he got the status resist, so...
Yeah. Oh, and he is going for the late Orchid. We've seen Echo Saber disassemble on Spectre into the Ags, then Orchid, because you had the Oblivion Staff, but he actually just went for a late Orchid. It's pretty good here. Even just making it so you can Orchid the IO, honestly, just to prevent him from tethering, could be good enough.
Zephyr, TP's out. Hiding in the trees there is Crit and Arteezy, just making sure all these lanes stay as pushed out as possible. Carl hasn't really grown on his puck. He's holding onto a lot of gold here. Hasn't quite been able to get to that next big item just yet.
Looks like he's deliberating, but they've already got the Doom with the Shivas queued up. I imagine you almost always want to go Shivas on Doom because it helps you lock on to whoever you Doom. And also, usually you beat Doom by sustaining, and the Shivas with the 25% heal reduction aura helps you out there a lot. So yeah, he does get that. I doubt Carl will go for a second Shivas.
Also will help boost his mana pool, which, you know, probably wants a refresher at some point if this game does drag on, maybe even as his next item.
Yeah, he doesn't need much time for that. He's a Doombringer with Midas and a Quickening Charm.
Yeah.
So, very nice item for Doom there. Basically a second Midas with the way it works with Devour as well as the Midas.
We'll see EG play that map starvation game. They've got the Aegis now. They've got the ability to keep T1 bottled up in their base. Bottom lane's the one place where T1's able to kind of poke their noses out, send a support to go push. They do not seem to have much interest in trying to take a fight to EG right now.
That's the beauty of that relocate bottom that EG did earlier, because now T1's the one that has to go push bottom, because the only way to take EG out of their triangle is to force EG to go bottom, because you don't feel happy walking high ground into a global plus Tide plus Aegis. So it just gives EG control of the map because T1's now the team that's forced to go bottom. So it's little things like that that EG does really well that sets themselves up on the map. And I think T1's acting accordingly. I don't think they have another choice now that they're down by 6k and there's the Aegis on EG. They don't really have like a clear target to go on. Troll's kind of the one they've been committing on to so far. I don't think Abed's ever going to present himself either.
EG did go for a little smoke to try and see where they could maybe find a pickup on the map, but T1 playing very good around there. Kind of lack of vision, just really doing the bare minimum to push out these lanes as far as showing themselves and committing.
Looks like 23 Savage is being annoying. He's forcing them to react. He agsed Mantha and just instantly left. And Crit was forced to untether Arteezy and tether onto Fly just to make sure he stays alive. But yeah, this is what T1 does best. We were talking about the stall game. You can't get away with the way they play if you don't avoid those types of smokes. Because that's exactly how teams like to end the game. That's like an in-the-game smoke from EG. It's kind of fishing for a big kill. And if you give it to them, you're in some serious trouble.
Speaking of, end the game plays, this isn't maybe kind of, well, no, end game item. We see a Lincoln Sphere now picked up for the Tide Hunter. That's going to make this Doom's life a lot more difficult getting that ultimate off.
I want to see if he can time it. If he can get somebody to pop his Lincolns and then refresher. Block the Doom. It's going to be the first time for everything. I've never seen it. I don't think I've ever seen a refresher and a Lincolns in someone's inventory. Except for the people that are from Dota 1, where they learned how to be efficient was to buy 3 Perseverance.
Yes, that was you rush Perseverance on every hero. Yeah. That was the old school build.
Yeah, back
Perseverance Radiance.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It was a Medusa build.
I don't think it was a Tide build though.
No. There you go. Another little poke coming from 23 Savage. Both teams just posturing around each other here. Cuckoo. Sees Arteezy in the front lines, but doesn't want to go on him. Storm, Abed zipping in here, but he gets caught. There's the Doom coming out. They get the coil as well. He is donezo and doesn't have buyback. That could have been a buyback opportunity since they committed a lot to kill him, but without it, EG probably just have to back off.
Abed's slightly overextending, and you can just see that even though EG's up by 6K, how scary T1's lineup is, right? Like, he overextended for a split second, and he's just insta-stomped, insta-coiled, and just dead. So they've absolutely got the firing power needed to bring down targets. Obviously, the Aegis really puts a damper on T1's ability to do so. But we're just seeing here what this Aegis' impact in this specific game is. Whenever you have a Doom in the equation, Aegis always goes up in value. And once this Aegis goes away, which
It's gone now,
yeah.
yeah.
I think
Got a couple minutes.
EG's always going to have to be very scared when that Doom is available.
Yep. We are seeing that T1 don't want to overcommit on Arteezy last. They've, it worked for them great throughout the early game, but last fight or two they throw too much on him. And if he gets bailed out by Crit's IO, then that's where the fights have gone a bit south for them. So
Timeless Relic for Storm, of course.
has the Storm got the Ags? He headed there, I got to imagine.
He's headed there, but he ain't close. He stopped. He took a pit stop for the Bloodstone and lost some charges there. I really feel like the game changer is this Elder Titan in the late game, because he just makes every core paper if he's actually alive. Now the question is if he can actually stay alive, because there's some scary damage coming out from
Yeah,
EG.
that feels more maybe like the spirit with the magic resistance, but getting close to someone to get rid of their armor is a tough ask.
Yeah, just get like BKB Axe, honestly. That's all he needs. Aesthetics cap. That's a big one, because that gives you status resistance, 40%, which I believe applies when you get the spell casted on you. So like if Doom was casted and you have the cap, I believe you will get 40% resistance on the Doom itself.
Okay.
So that's something I will find out for sure conclusively through this game.
That sounds nice. Timeless Relic on both sides, by the way. Puck's got one as well, so.
Nobody's taking it, so maybe it doesn't work that way. Or maybe they don't know either, kind of like me here, and they're just like...
They don't want to
worth
figure
finding
out in middle of TI.
I've got a little bit less invested in this mystery.
Yeah. Carl just playing very aggressive on the map with the A on disc, feeling like he can push the limit of his hero a bit further.
Yeah, they don't have any dispels. Actually, they don't have Axe Troll, yeah. They don't have any dispels for the on disc, so once he pops that, he will for sure be able to disengage from there. Or just cast all of his spells and kill somebody with the Axe Coil.
Reaching that 40-minute mark soon. Tier 4 items all out on the map, and here's especially these carries, these cores, they're hitting that kind of max item status. Big Doom coming out. They're going on Arteezy's Troll. Is the Eye going to back him up here? There's the first. Ravage looking for a second, but the Earth Splitter does a lot here with the coil on several, but Abed, he's still alive for now. He's in the front lines, just doing all kinds of damage here. They're taking out the Doom. Arteezy is just, he is full health. BKB Troll, unstoppable, and that fight went awful for T1.
That was such a cool play from Zephyr. He blinked in and used the shard on Snapfire to push Arteezy out of the coil, and I swear, he was like 50 units from the edge of that coil, and it would have killed him. And, man, it's like Dota's so cool for that, but it seems pretty depressing that you can be like 50 units of a coil breaking from a carry dying compared to wiping you know?
Game of inches.
It's crazy.
And that's where, you go back to you mentioned, a couple patches ago where Puck was like the mid-hero. The hero felt at its best and strongest when you had that synergy with something that can break the coil. We saw it a lot with the Tinies, the Earth Spirits. They're trying to make it happen with the cookie there, but couldn't quite do it.
That's definitely a ultra poor man's, poverty, homeless version of the Earth Spirits and such. But I respect it. They knew they needed every little ounce of damage that they got, and that Paladin Sword plus Satanic plus IO, it was barely enough. So what do you know? Arteezy gets it.
I mean, great game. This is neck and neck, 15-16 on kills. EG get themselves another Roshan. They got the last one as well, but that does not necessarily change the state of the game too much. It does give them a bit of an edge, some breathing room, but we saw T1, they're very good at just playing it safe and keeping up on farm to a certain extent, even when they're playing into EG with an Aegis.
I feel like EG, with this draft, really tested T1 saying, we know you execute really well, but just how well can you execute? We've got so many ways to prevent you from finishing off targets, and you're seeing how close it is, man. It's crazy that like it's so much like it's just one little spell here or there on either side. One guy misclicks anything, the saves or the actual combos themselves.
Yeah.
Even just like, what if like Zephyr goes for a Veil or a Kaya or something, you know? Like just something that gives him an extra 200 damage. Could that make the difference? Probably. What is he? Oh, he's killing the creep wave. Interesting.
Gonna get punished for it.
Was that really that desperate of a situation? It might be. He's saying that mid creep wave is worth his death.
He's pinging those 2 melee creeps that slip by, so he's saying someone needs to get him the ET, trying to... But...
Honestly, I respect that. You got to know your worth. And creep waves at this stage in the game that represent the high ground push can mean a lot. They can be worth a whole lot. So that's what he's saying. 23 Savage might be in some trouble.
Oh yeah, they global silence after the Manta. They throw out a Ravage as well. They're committed and they're going to get this kill. No buyback as well. He gets caught with his pants down as Artesia. Ice is going to go for the refresh plate instantly. Has the refresher as well as the refresher shard. So Ravages galore from this Tidehunter. That may be the call for the high ground now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was all meant to buy time for 23 Savage to represent some sort of pressure somewhere else for EG to address, and they addressed it. You know, they more than usually you'd call necessary.
It's like the first big mistake we've seen from the Spectre this game, but it is a costly one. Doesn't have buyback, and looking like it could be at least one lane of Raxia going the way of EG.
He's got leveler too, so yeah, a lot of damage.
Carl looking for a creep wave, I believe. Not gonna find it. Arteezy will finish off both melee and range tracks, make his way towards top. Cuckoo just trying to bait out some spells. Not gonna achieve a whole lot there as they continue to try and delay. Using the ET, the stomp is there, the kiss is raining on down. Arteezy getting a little low here, but he's got the sustain. No chance of killing him through the Satanic, and Cuckoo got stunned as he jumped in. Was that the tether stun?
Oh, the tether stun, yes, the tether stun.
He got the puck.
We
Has
talked
the
about that
Aeon Disc.
earlier.
Okay, he gets out of there with the help of the Aeon Disc, but I think it was Doom as well getting caught by that one. That is problematic for him as EG going to find themselves taking a second lane of Rax here, uncontested.
Now, all the viewers at home who haven't watched Dota in like 5 years, and they're like, how are they blinking into this tether stun? The most powerful part of that shard is tether hasn't stunned for like 5 years.
Yeah, right.
So these players aren't used to getting stunned by a tether. So it's really hard to be like, oh yeah, like even though you know it, you know, like how many times have you blinked into a tether?
They want crit, they jump in the eye, but he's got a cheese there that heals him up instantly, and now the Ravages from Ice. He'll turn and blow up the puck as well as the Spectre, who still does not have buyback. And this could be it for T1. Cuckoo desperately trying to go in and find somebody on the backlines, but EG, they're all fully healthy. And Arteezy, eye on the prize, going for the Raxia. This will be the Mega Creeps as Abed jumps in with the Axe Vortex, catches out two. The follow-up is there, and the Earth Split are going to be absolutely useless as EG will kill 3 and secure themselves. Game number 1. A really back-and-forth game, one where we saw moments of brilliance really from both teams, I feel like.
Yeah, there were 2 or 3 small plays. I mean, they ended up being large plays, but going the other way, this game would be day and night to what we just saw. So I'm thoroughly impressed with T1 with their lineup of how they are able to get out of the